r/AskReddit. What old person things do you do? I've been to a shopping mall before all the stores were open, so I just walked laps around the mall until they opened. Haha, that's so old. I did it once. Turns out the mall I went to was a popular spot for old Japanese people to do aerobics in the morning before the stores were open. I don't live in Japan. Japan is a state of mind. I do everything like an old person. I am an old person. 76 next month. Groan every time I get up from sitting. I do the same thing. I feel no pain and I don't need extra effort to stand at all, but at some point I started doing it. Now it's just so natural to do so and I can't stop. I groan both ways. Walk into a room and say, WTF did I come in here for? I pretty recently threw out my back while putting on socks. I feel you too much. I recently jumped up and down once when I got some really good news, and I could hardly walk for several days because it hurt my knee. I did that too, except it messed my back up so bad I had to crawl from my bed to my kitchen the next morning. I'm 28. Wife, hey, lift the end of the couch so I can vacuum under it. Me, sure. Congratulations, you are now crippled. Yes. I'll strain my neck from turning my head too fast to check my blind spot. I once injured my ankle while I was laying on the couch. I was 32. Kids, don't laugh, it'll happen to you eventually. I actually always have a bag of Werther's hard candy in my car. Also, I'm kinda terrible with computers. I'm 27 but my friends call me an undercooked grandpa. More and more as I get older, I need to rest my eyes for a bit. Won't be long till I just turn that into full blown. Just give in already. You'll be glad you did. I'm 23 and do the same. After work I get home and just sit down for a bit and then boom I wake up and it's 10 PM. I do hate that shuffle off the couch and into bed so I can get a better sleep before my 6 AM alarm, though. I'm part of quiz team of 50 to 60-year-old men called the Old Gits that does pub quizzes in a golfing pub. I am a 25-year-old woman, and probably the youngest in that pub by about 20 years. 90% of the questions are before my time, but I help out with all the gaming and youth culture questions that throw all the other teams off. I'm their secret weapon. I get to learn a lot of interesting stuff and there's a great selection of relays there. I love it. There's something about that situation that makes me so happy. Generations uniting, in order to kick others to the curb with their combined knowledge. Nice. I evidently have the same TV watching habits of my late grandparents. My dad makes fun of me for watching Matlock and Murder, She Wrote like his mom did. At some point, I noticed that all of the commercials between my shows were for things like alert bracelets and walk-in bathtubs. Even the commercials for toys were like, your grandchild will love this for their birthday. Time to go yell at some kids to get off my lawn. Get into zoning disputes with my neighbors. This one is underrated. My husband and I are keeping a zoning violation in our back pockets, just waiting for the neighbors to say some shut. Had a neighbor put a complaint in about a tool shed in our backyard when we built a garage. Town came out and made us tear it down to avoid the fine. The shed had been there for over a decade and when we built a garage the shed became out of compliance. He was a world-class asshole, the type of guy who would never confront a problem or talk to a neighbor man to man, but peer out his window and play tattletale anytime a neighbor made an improvement to their house. He was an insecure and petty man. Now this is the same guy who once called the cops for me playing catch in the street with my old man when I was a kid. He'd call the cops for noise complaints during a family BBQ at 5 PM. He would make an anonymous tip if someone installed a backyard hot tub. He'd call about a new boat in the driveway. He'd call the town about fireworks on the 4th. He once called the town about my father's flagpole and USMC flag. I was brought up to turn the other cheek, and my parents were never the type to escalate, but that zoning violation call could not go unchecked. Well, guess what, Vern? The ASPCA call years later about your puppy breeding. Me. The fine you got for your wife's unlicensed daycare she was running out of the house. Yours truly. When your teenage daughter got drunk with her friends while you were away and sideswept the car down the street. How did they know what door to knock on? Say, my name. So when you're sitting home asking yourself what went wrong, Why your unfulfilled and bored wife with nothing to do during the day abandoned your marriage. Why you failed as a parent and your daughter had to take the bus every day in college. Why you don't even have the company of a pet. I want you to remember, you should have never opened your mouth about that ducking tool shed. Edit, to whoever gave me platinum for ruining a man's life. Thank you. Crack my bones like they are Rice Krispies. Oh man. In the morning my neck sounds like a popcorn machine and a bowl of Rice Krispies had a baby, and it just crashed an airplane made of uncooked pasta into a bubble wrap factory. Damn, are you okay? We go to the monthly stonemasons breakfast in my town. My husband and I are the youngest people there without kids by at least 30 years, but it's a solid breakfast buffet and only $10 per person. I was headed for the rec center to get in a workout. As I'm getting in my car, I remembered something I forgot. Went upstairs, got it, came back down. Repeated that about 3 more times, including once when I got back upstairs I forgot what I was looking for. I was breathing pretty hard and just decided to call that my workout. Showered and turned on the TV. Haha. That would make a great scene in a sitcom. I've started standing at my front window with a cup of coffee and scowling at the squirrels digging up my flower beds. My transformation into my father is complete. I'm only 30, and I'm way too suspicious of teenagers. A few frups of kids cut through the parking lot of my apartment complex in the mornings to get to school, and I'll just peek through my blinds with squinted angry eyes and sip my coffee while muttering to myself, assuming that these kids are up to no good. There's no reason for me to do this, but it's basically a part of my morning routine now. Oh, and I frequently sneeze off it. I'd be suspicious too if I saw kids roving in fraps. Wake up before 7 AM every day. I have no reason to be up early on weekends, but still find myself having my morning coffee alone. At 6:30, I hang out in bed and talk to my cat from about 5:30 to 7:30 every morning. I try to force myself back to sleep, but it never works. For 2 hours? He has a lot to say. And if I stop responding he touches my face with his stinky paws. I sit in my chair with a blanket draped over my legs. It's warm and cozy, okay? People ask me all the time if I'm cold cause I like to have a blanket on me. Some people just don't understand the difference between cold and cozy. If I'm laying on the couch I have a blanket on me. If I get hot, one leg comes out from under the blanket. Still cozy. Looks down at blanket on legs. Is this only for old people? Meetings at 10. Should only be a 15-minute drive for you. I'll leave at 8:45. Good lord, this is me. I don't even realize that I do it until I'm there 40 minutes early and have to sit in my car and read Reddit till the actual time. Constantly turn off lights in rooms that are not in use, and turn on heat only when it gets too cold. Electricity doesn't pay for itself. I swear the hallway light is going to drive me to the point of insanity one day. The damn things gets more action than a honeymoon. Kids constantly flipping it on. Seems they have no clue how to flip it back off. Save every plastic grocery bag for later use. Edit. For everyone commenting along the lines of "that's not an old person thing, IDK want to tell ya, the only people in my family who did it when I was growing up were the old people. How else would you line your small trash cans? Or take care of cat litter? Get outraged when people ask me to meet them for dinner at a time later than 7. You want me to come to dinner at 9 PM? I hope you're ready for me to be in my pajamas. Tried to make plans with a friend this past weekend who wanted to go out after the kids went to bed around 9. I agreed, but kept hoping he would cancel. About 8:15 he texted me and said he put his PJs on without thinking. Made my day. I was already in mine. Watch TV with subtitles on. Sometimes, when I'm home alone, I realize I could do anything I want and nobody would know. So I take a hot bath and steep some chamomile tea. If I'm feeling frisky and want to spice it up, I put 2 pairs of socks on and curl up under a blanket. I put up bird feeders and I like to watch them from the window. I keep forgetting words. I keep forgetting words. Does wearing granny panties count? Girl, life is too short for painful shoes and underwear up your ass crack. Complain about modern music. Wear earplugs to concerts. I'm not self-conscious about it, before people come to my defense saying that's actually good to protect your hearing. True, but at 27 I still feel like a geezer at festivals looking like everything's too loud and not as good as back in my day. I eat old people food, drive like an old lady, prefer iced tea over soda, my taste in music favors older tunes, I bake from scratch, I bitch about how we got less snow days, I watch documentaries and game shows. Pretty sure the only thing I'm missing is Velcro shoes. I'm a 26-year-old male.